Welcome everybody to the Santa Ines Mountain Adventure Run, the first Filipino points race of Season 8 in the Asia Trailmaster Championship Series. We are now 2023. We have a clean slate. We started last week with the V-Trail in Laos, and this is the second points race of the season. About 100 runners started the 80-kilometer race here in Santa Ines, roughly 3 hours east of Manila, capital city of the Philippines, for a tough 80 kilometers. This was a candidate race last year, a successful one, and the second edition basically mirrors that edition, so we can expect a grueling race with a finishing time around 13 to 14 hours. Last year's winner, Elmer Retolado, is also again in the race. The start was at 9 p.m, so at night, and the race is also characterized by a lot of river crossings that you can see here. In total, there's about 36 river crossings to do in this 80-kilometer race. Cecile Wael, one of the top favorites in the women's race, and ahead of her is Angelica Ballo. The two are running more or less side by side for most of the race. But ahead of them is another woman, Elisabeth Dangadan, and she is also one of these exciting newcomers in the Philippines, hailing from Baguio. Elisabeth Dangadan. This is footage from aid station 1 at kilometer 8, and we have a leading quartet at this stage with Anthony Calixtero, we have Sean Aying here, we have Elmer Retolado, the winner from last year, and we also have Maynard and Gormal. These four had about a lead of about 2-3 minutes over the others. As you can see, it's dry, luckily also with a view to the river crossings, so the temperature were also quite mild, even though it still stays warm here in this part of the Philippines, and we are not at a very high altitude. Runners essentially have to go out and back at this point. Here we have Timo Gilbert, German based in Bali, also in the race. And here we have again Elisabeth Dangadan, the first woman in the race at aid station 1, just about a minute ahead of her main competitors for today's race, Cecile Wael and Angelica Ballo. Yoyong Sakaile from Cagayan in Mindanao is leading the race by himself at aid station 2, which is the same aid station, this time at kilometer 17 of the race. Yoyong Sakaile has a lead of about 1.5 minutes over the other 3 runners he was with at the start of this race. The other 3 are coming right here. Maynard and Gormal, Elmer Retolado, and Anthony Calixtero. With apologies if I mispronounce some of these names. Elmer Retolado here in the white t-shirt, white singlet, the winner from last year. He also won Akiathlon in 2019. He's one of these very strong runners in the Philippines who unfortunately perhaps has not yet come out of his home country so often. Sean Aying is in 5th place at this point, kilometer 17, aid station 2. Sean Aying, one of the finalists also in the Mount Apo Sky race 2 months ago for Team Philippines in his home race. Always very resilient, Sean Aying.
Ito may medic tayo. Okay. Sakabay lang naman ako. Thank you.
Elisabeth Dangadan remains in the lead also at aid station 2, but the gap to Cecile and Angelica Ballo remains small, and anything remains open for the remainder of this race. This is around 11 p.m, so there's still a long way to go, 7 hours more of running in the darkness. This is Cécile Wael, winner of Cordillera Mountain Ultra, her best competitive trail running performance ever, I would say. And Angelica Ballo, the winner of the Malaysia Mountain Trail Festival. And what an entrance into Asia Trailmaster was that. Caballo then followed up with third place in Cordillera Mountain Ultra 1 week later. Timo Kilbert, as usual, biding his time. Here is James Telias, also one of the trail running protagonists in the Philippines for many years already. Cécile Wael apparently had a bit of an issue with her headlight as well, but received the help from Caballo. That was very nice to see. And the aid stations here are very well stocked, as you can see. This is the fourth lady in the race. It's Charmaine.
Ay, umikot lang ba kami? Lead number po.
And this is number 5, fifth lady in the race.
Ay, may kape po dito. Pwede pong naman.
Kimberly Gaila. And Kimberly is still marginally ahead of this woman, Irish Glorioso, winner of the V-Trail in Laos just a week ago. The very tough V-Trail, and she's already back at it here at Santa Ines. Transportation issues prevented us from shooting a lot more content during the night, and suddenly it's sunrise and full daylight. And ultimately it is Elmer Retolado, who we see here in the picture, coming to the finish line, who wins for the second year in a row the Santa Ines Mountain Run Adventure. The difference with last year is that he is significantly faster. Last year 14 hours 47. This year he comes in 13 hours 17. That's 1.5 hours quicker than a year ago. Elmer Retolado. Let's see if he can become a protagonist throughout the Asia Trailmaster season this year. We certainly hope so. And here he is with Rea Batak, the race director of the Santa Ines Mountain Run Adventure. Second place went to Yoyong Sakale from Mindanao. Strong race from him. He was in the lead by himself early on, as we saw, and ultimately he settles for second. And third place went to Maynard Enkormal in a good time as well. He is also quicker than last year. He did say though that it was a very tough race for him. He had some trouble with his abs towards the end. And he also mentioned that the slightly different course made a difference, and that he believes that this is why they're running a bit quicker than last year. Nevertheless, a very great performance by Maynard Enkormal here today at Santa Ines.